Alright, welcome back. This is the third help that I'm going to give you on this chapter this week. If you have a situation where you have a right triangle and you're given two of the sides, you can find a third side using Pythagorean's theorem. But what if we want to try to find the angle? Okay, well, we're going to use our SOHCAHTOA ratios, but in a slightly different way than we did previously. Okay, instead of using the function of SOHCAHTOA, sine, cosine, or tangent, I'm going to use cosine in this one, okay? Abbreviating it to COS. Instead of using the cosine of some angle to find the ratio, I'm going to use what they call the inverse. It can be written like this, or it can be written like this. The inverse cosine. And that will find, we'll put in our ratio here, which in terms of cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And that will give us our angle. Okay, so it's kind of like the inverse of the cosine function is cosine with a symbol -1 up top, or arc cosine. Okay, now if you don't have that on your calculator, you can find one online. Okay, I googled the search and I found two right off the bat, so it's not too hard. Just remember though, you're not plugging in the angle, you're plugging in the ratio, and in this case it's adjacent over hypotenuse, which is 4/8. Okay, which reduces, usually it's better to type it in as a, well, it doesn't really matter, just determine what your calculator can do. If your calculator doesn't have the fractions though, just type it in as a decimal, because this is the same thing as 1/2, which is the same thing as a decimal, 0.5, or you could take 4 divided by 8 and you get 0.5. So you type that in your calculator or in your online calculator, the arc cosine or the cosine to the -1 of 0.05, you will get your angle equaling 60 degrees. And the same thing works with sine, same thing works with tangent. Alright, let's do an example with tangent. We have a triangle like this, and let's say I have side of 5 and the side of 5, and this is a right triangle, and I'm curious what this angle is. Okay, you might know this just from your relationships of triangles, right triangles that you might be able to see, but if not, I could use either sine, cosine, or tangent. And in this case, if I'm looking from this angle, the two sides that I have, okay, I have an adjacent side and I have an opposite side. I don't know the hypotenuse. And there's only one trigonometric ratio that deals with adjacent and opposite and does not deal with the hypotenuse, and that's tangent. Okay, so I'm going to use tangent, and I'm not going to use the normal function because I don't know the angle. I'm going to use the inverse function. I'm going to plug in my ratio of opposite, which is this 5, over adjacent. So 5/5, and that will give me my unknown angle. 5/5 is the same thing as 1, so really on my calculator I'm going to type what the inverse tangent of 1 is, and as I calculate that in, I should come up with 45 degrees. Now note about degrees. If your calculator is giving you something other than 45, or if you're using the regular function tangent of some angle and you're given a weird answer, it's likely because your calculator is reading in radians. Okay, we're not talking. The radian measurement is just another way to measure degrees. Okay, just like degrees is. All right, but for this homework assignment, if you're given an assignment where you need to find the degrees, make sure that your calculator is in the degree mode.